So good evening, everyone. My name is Lakshmi, and I'm studying in grade 12 of DPS Whitefield. I'm a fashion aspirant, and I will be conducting today's live session with fashion designer Harleen Anand. So Dhanak is a culmination of our creative expressions and an opportunity to explore the world through the student's eyes. Dhanak literally means rainbow, which signifies a celebration of colors. Dhanak was started in 2019. It is the brainchild of design students and who were guided by extremely talented design faculty and the visual arts department. The main objective of Dhanak is to appreciate art and artisans. DPS Whitefield is proud to present the third edition of Dhanak with lots of interesting workshops and interactive sessions. Today's guest is Harleen Anand. She is a fashion designer who has worked at popular fashion houses of her time, such as Noor Jahan and Ravissant, before she began her own fashion label with a workshop and a studio in her house. She was creatively inclined from a very young age, no matter if it was at crochet making or making portraits, which led her to where she is today. Her creative and wearable designs have been loved for 35 years by all of Delhi's well-heeled ladies. Ma'am, so I'll start the questions now.
Yeah, please do.
So the first question we'd like to know is, when did you realize you wanted to be a fashion designer?
Actually, since I was a child, I was very interested in clothes. I would take interest in my mom's clothes. I would, in my aunt's clothes, I would take out their old ones, their marriage clothes from their trunks. And, I was fascinated with the embellishments and the styles of older times. I would even go to the tailor with my mother and collect small fabrics and make clothes for my dolls. So this was me. I knew this is my passion. But later on, much later on, I just went for an interview with this Ravissant, and they were one of the only um, fashion houses of its kind. And I got selected, and that's when I realized, yes, this is what I'm going to do.
That's really nice to hear, because I know a lot of my friends and myself, we all love to go to fashion shows, and I go to the tailor with my mom all the time, and we just keep drawing designs and he makes it for us. So it's really nice.
Yeah, actually, if you have this, in you, either you have it or you don't. So if you really are interested, then that's the main thing, because you actually learn if you're passionate about it, and that's when you take it up and do well in life, and do well in its profession.
Ma'am, so how would you describe your style, even in fashion designing, or even the clothes you wear, the clothes you design? What do you think your style is? How would you describe it?
My style is kind of very classic and simple, but I do add a lot of, I do add some trendy elements to my, according to the client. So it's a classic, simple, and yet it's quite versatile also, because I don't stick to just, though my stamp is there in my clothes, but it's not always either a very traditional or a modern. It's versatile.
Ma'am, so now talk about style. According to you, what is more important, fashion or style, and what's the difference between these two? Because people always between them.
I think style, because
sorry for the disturbance, ma'am.
Yeah.
Would you like me to repeat the question?
Yeah.
So what do you think is the major difference between fashion and style, and what is more important? Because a lot of people get confused and they think that it's the same thing.
No, see, fashion is a trend which is created by, globally different designers, and it's a kind of a trend. Sometimes it's a very stark trend. But style is very individual, and it's what you perception. That it's an individual thing. Style is something which an individual makes of his own, of her own. It's not just following trends, or just because it's fashionable, you dress up in a certain manner. You just dress up because it goes well on you. It's right for the occasion. And style is that. It's your own style. It could be maybe it's not in fashion, it's a particular thing, but it suits you and it's looks stylish for the occasion and on the person who's wearing it. So style is a very individual thing, and it's not just fashion. Style is definitely more important. Sometimes, some celebrity or something has a style of her own, and that could actually start off fashion. People start following imitating the people, the person, or because that person carried off a certain outfit with very stylishly, that could actually start off a fashion trend. So definitely style is more important.
Yes, ma'am. So talking about all these fashion trends, what is one fashion trend that you completely do not understand or you don't like at all that have evolved or that have occurred over the past years?
See, I don't think that I really dislike anything like that, because the same thing which according to me may be looking disastrous on an occasion on somebody, may actually have looked very good on some other person. So you can't just say this trend is so bad, or I dislike it totally. I may dislike it on a certain occasion or a certain person, but for example, on the ramp, something looks very stylish and very trendy, may look just not that nice. And on a certain other occasion, if person is wearing that and going into a not an appropriate. So I can't say that I dislike anything, but definitely not this. It's a perception. How people look at it. It does. Everything on the ramp looks lovely, and I appreciate the designer. I appreciate the work gone into it and the thought gone into it. But it's not necessary that that's the ultimate trend and it will look good on everybody. So I don't think I dislike one thing completely.
Yeah, yes, ma'am, that makes sense. Ma'am, so who's your favorite fashion designer that you like, or that one person you would like to meet?
I have actually liked many. I like Rohit Bal. I like Ritu Kumar in some ways. I like very classic looks.
Yes.
So,
Ma'am, so who was your inspiration? Like, what inspired you to start your own line, or who inspired you?
actually, it was a process. Since my childhood, I've been very interested in clothes, dressing up, and many things inspired me. Fabrics really inspire me. The weaves, our heritage, our culture, and colors inspire me. People inspire me when I just meet people and I want to just dress them up and in something. So it's really not, I can't say that any one person who has inspired me, but a lot of things inspire me.
Yeah, yes, ma'am. Ma'am, so When you started your own line, which was about more than 35 years ago, what was your biggest fear that you faced?
See, I'm a very creative person. I'm an artist. From my childhood, I would even draw and paint, and which carried on in my designing. I would, like, for all the Zardozi designs, I actually make my own khakas. Khakas are those traces, which all the. So, sorry, what did you ask?
Ma'am, I asked, what was your biggest?
Yeah. And I'm not but I'm not a business person as such, and I wasn't trained to be. So I didn't get that kind of training. So sometimes this is a fear because I may just land up spending a lot of money on making a very beautiful creation, but it may not sell. So the business aspect is a little bit scary.
Ma'am, that makes sense. I do not understand maths at all. Like I don't get it. Okay, so yeah, so how is the industry different then, and how is it different now? Like when you started out, what are the changes that you've seen? How it evolved?
It was very different. The year I started, even NIFT was not there in that year. It started a year later. So there was nothing, there was hardly, except for a very ordinary course in Polytechnic. There was nothing. This was not a very structured career. Like I only knew Ritu Kumar, who was a designer, and probably Ravison was there. Ravison was one of its kind, but there were hardly any designers, and mostly we all just bought our clothes and this fancy stuff from stores. Stores like Ushna Akmal or Anarkali or something. There were those big stores, and the karigars, the artisans were designers. Actually, they would just use their own imagination and embroider fabrics and saris, and little bit of styling was there, but not like this. Now it's a totally different world completely. There's so many designers and so many fashion houses. Even online it has become such a, and you can get any sort of a garment for different varied people, for um, any price range you want. It's a very different world, and it's become a very structured career. So many young people are taking it up now, and yeah, definitely a huge different world.
So you talk about young people who are taking up designing and fashion. And as I'm a fashion aspirant myself, what advice would you give to all the students that aspire to take up fashion in their future?
See, your journey is going to be a very individual journey, but there's not. I mean, you are going to be learning on the job. There's a lot of hard work involved, and I think you should have your own mind, your own style, and uh, not necessarily follow trends, and you must let it flow out of yourself.
Ma'am,
The
what's
rest,
your favorite part of being a fashion designer?
the creativity, the joy of creating, the joy of making clothes, and when people wear my clothes and they appreciate it, the next day when I get calls from them on an occasion they wore a certain garment, it's a beautiful feeling. So it's the creativity and the joy that it has brought in my life. The whole process has been beautiful, and a huge learning in my life. And of course, I really enjoy when I see people wearing my clothes and mm, enjoying them.
Ma'am, so talking about your clothes and your designs, do you have any such favorite design of yours or a favorite piece as such?
I told you I'm a very versatile person. So when I just see the person, sometimes it's a young girl of 16, 17, I'm doing something for. or sometimes it's an elderly lady. So it's something which I, at that time, it's something comes in me, and I design something for an individual, which becomes my favorite at that time.
Yeah. What challenges did you face? Like at that time when you started out, there was the fashion, as you said, the fashion industry was basically not very prominent or not existent in India. So what were the challenges that you faced at that time, and how did you like overcome all of those?
See, when you're starting this business, you need a very good team. And but yeah, one of the biggest problems I have faced is handling the labor, handling tailors and embroiders, and because they are very frivolous sometimes. They just don't take work so seriously. They just take holidays without any reason. Sometimes they're not regular, and they have their issues, which I had to, you have to be really, really you have to learn the knack of, getting them together and get your work done. So this was one of the main challenges, handling the workers.
Yeah.
It's a lot, I mean, getting a place to do it, getting it full team, then maintaining it, and then handling it, and their salaries have to be paid. So you have to have really, really be on the job to, I mean, to have a collection ready, and then it should do well. And you need the biggest support has to be from the workers. But if you don't have it, it can be really tough.
Ma'am, I agree that teamwork is like very important. Even while organizing our school events and all, I see the amount of teamwork that goes into it.
Oh,
Like,
yeah. Oh, yes. That's really.
so when you started your career and now, do you think your fashion style has changed or has it remained versatile throughout?
It definitely evolves. Every year I have a new collection, and I definitely add new elements to it. I can't say that I'm blindly following fashion trends, but I definitely incorporate new things and newer look. Maybe sometimes the cuts are different. You have to have a mix of everything. You just can't have a very simple classic look, which I love, but I do add some different look to it every year. It has evolved quite a bit. And but still, I mean, the look is there. We can make out that these are my clothes.
Uh, Ma'am, so yeah, since you said that we can make out how your clothes look and everything, since the pandemic is also going on, and how has that affected your business, or do you think it has affected your designs or your customers in any way?
Oh, it was a big setback because the moment the lockdown happened, I had to just close it down. The tailors had to be sent away to their homes because initially they were waiting, and I also kept paying them salaries. But then the lockdown was a long one, so they had to go to the villages. We had to stop our work and then got them back. Then the second wave came, and the second wave was even worse, and then they again had to be sent back. So it was a huge setback. I couldn't work for a long time. And even otherwise, people are not going in for formal clothes. Luxury items are just not selling. So it has taken a toll on my work. The pandemic has been quite difficult.
So how have you managed to stay inspired during this whole time?
This is in me. It's something which gives me so much of happiness. The clothes, if nothing else, my own clothes, I just keep, you know, redesigning, or it's just there. Sometimes it's always in your mind. So, and hopefully things are going to come back to normal at some point.
So you talk about how you love wearing your clothes. Is there a specific clothing item that you like? Maybe it could be a kurta or a sari. Like, what do you think is your favorite clothing item if you have one as such?
I always loved saris. I loved saris, and I like Indian clothes, very traditional Indian clothes. I love shararas, I love lehengas. And for myself, I'm a little more at the moment, as you grow older, uh, you see what looks nice on you. And so I love salwar kameezes. I like a little bit of innovation in our traditional outfits. It's not going to be a regular salwar, maybe a little bit of a dhoti salwar or some asymmetrical design. So I love those sort of things also.
I agree with you. Asymmetrical designs, they have a whole different look and they're really pretty, like when people wear it. So there are like a few questions from the audience. So the first one is, what is your opinion on reinventing clothes, using old ones, redesigning them?
I think and at least it's my forte that I can really transform. If anybody gets me an old wedding lehenga, and you want a lehenga for your daughter's wedding, I can transform the look. I can just pick up the embroidery and some elements from, I mean, some portion of it, and make a whole new outfit. I think it's a beautiful idea. And that's something I love doing, actually. You can even get an old sort of fabric, which has been lying in a trunk of your grandmother's trunk or something, and I can just transform that with little more embellishment and adding something. I think it's a beautiful idea to use old clothes and older outfits to remodel them.
So it's a huge world of fast fashion nowadays, and we see a lot of sustainable brands coming up. So would you say that your brand is moving towards sustainability?
Yes, I have always used very, very sustainable fabrics. And my styles are also very simple and durable, wearable, affordable also.
Yes, well,
Yeah, and sometimes, people have come and told me that they have been wearing it for years. They got it done 20 years ago for their wedding, but they still have that uh, in their wardrobe and they love wearing them.
So talking about affordability, a lot of fashionable, I wouldn't say fashionable, I would say like designer brands are very expensive. So do you think we can be fashionable without spending money?
Oh,
That
yes.
one of our audiences. So
It has nothing to do with that. You can wear a very simple outfit and look very stylish. Yeah. It's just that some designers, they have such a big infrastructure, that they need to charge that kind of money. And but affordable outfits can be done, definitely can be done, and look good
yeah. So what do you think is the most fashionable city in India?
in India. I think Delhi. Delhi, or maybe I have also seen, a lot of people in Punjab, in Ludhiana, and all are very fashion conscious. They love new clothes. They love to spend money on them. And uh, in fact, the people down south are a little simpler. They're more, I mean, in Bombay, they're different. They just like, a lot of them like very, of course, the Bollywood is different. They are very fashionable and that is a different ball game. But I think Delhi is one.
Yeah. I kind of do agree with you. And so what age group do you like to design for? Do you have any specific age group that you would love to design for?
For everybody, for all ages, for all older people. I have made clothes for so many old people. There was a lady who would I would make her salwars the ponchas have to be done very intricately. So she loved my clothes so much. She said, I put them specially in a very different satin cloth and keep them, that these are made by Harleen. So that was a big compliment and I loved it. I love making clothes for all age groups, young girls. I love making for them, and brides and older people, for everybody.
Ma'am, so one of our teachers have asked a question of how do you procure your mom's or your grandmom's kanchivarams and banarasis? And what can you like make out of those?
See, there have been people who have cut their kanji, to come to me with their kanjivarams and wanted me to make something out of that, which I have managed. A lot of people would not touch their kanjivarams, they would just wear them as saris. But sometimes what happens is you have a large collection and you're not wearing so many. So you can cut and make it into many things. You can make them into a traditional outfit, even a little modern outfit with some adding some other fabric, or some kind of skirts can be done, or many things can be done out of kanjivarams. It's depends on the sari. Borders can be used beautifully, and borders could be collected and made into a fabric. So many things can be done.
Yes. Ma'am, so what style would a trendy young woman wear?
What style?
Yeah.
With a kanjivaram outfit?
Oh,
No, generally
in general and as well as with the kanchivaram.
a trendy outfit. It could be a nice an outfit with a drapey sort of a look, maybe a drapey kurta, asymmetrical, and a bottom can be a little different, falling differently. There's so many things, straight pants look nice with different styles of kurtas. Then sometimes palazzos look lovely with a asymmetrical kurta, or anarkalis with a lot of ghera. If you're a slim and tall person, you can carry off anarkalis, and anarkalis can be. There can be so many innovations in them. It just doesn't have to be one style. It can have different cuts to it. There can be angrakhas. There can be then kaftans can be made with a lot of innovations, different cuts, and kaftans can be made differently. Then shorter tops with dhoti salwars, very short ones with lungis, or maybe a lehenga, a different sort of a lehenga. There's so much you can do.
Yes.
Saris can be draped very differently. They don't have to be just draped in a traditional manner. Even they can be very trendy looking. Just maybe a double side joint sari, or some different sort of look.
With the sari thing, I like for like different occasions. My mom has a lot of saris, so when we used to say we can't really go out and buy like lehengas for me to wear or something, so we just used to take my mom's sari and we like wrap it around like we make it into a skirt and we just wear it. It's really nice.
Ah, that's the way. That's what style is actually.
Ma'am, so what's your styling philosophy?
I follow my instincts. The moment I see a fabric and the person I'm designing for, it's just the instinct which I get and I just go by it. It's not necessarily that I follow any rule or anything like that. It just comes to me.
Ma'am, so nowadays all of us, like I'm pretty sure everyone my age, all my friends, we're all obsessed with the packaging of how when we receive orders or anything. So do you think it really does play such an important role?
Yes, it's how you present your garment. It definitely has an impact. It should be very neatly done with a nice packaging. but of course, it's an individual thing. Some people spend a lot of money on their packaging, but that adds to the cost of the garment. Then sometimes I have a very simple, but it should be very neatly done, and it should be an effective looking packet.
Yeah, yes. So we have another question. It says, what do you think is the most important, like fabric, or cuts or patterns? What is the most important thing?
Everything. The fabric is important because the cuts depend on the fabric. Like if you're using a stiff khadi, or you're using a chiffon, or you're using or organza, everything has a very different feel to it. So you can't just say the cuts are more important, or a fabric or anything. It's together. It's together. The certain kind of fabric should be cut in a certain manner, and even a stiffer fabric is needed for certain styles. Sometimes you need a very drapey fabric. So everything is equally important.
Ma'am, so do you have a favorite fabric to work with?
I like pure fabrics, so pure cottons and pure silks. I just love pure fabrics. And I love woven fabrics. I love Banarsis. I just really love them.
Yes.
Fabric from originally from Banaras, but now I think even other places there are karigars who make similar looking fabrics.
So since I've asked you about what do you think is the most fashionable place in India, what do you think is the most fashionable place in
In
the world?
the world. Well, Paris.
Yes. Ma'am, have you been to Paris?
Yes. And I see the girls really, really decked up in the roads. And I could make out that there's a little difference. Some places you go, they have a very different feel. Like if you go to London, they have a very different way of dressing up. And if you go to Thailand, they have a very different way. But in Paris, they are into all the accessories. It's not just about your garment, it's how they color their hair and how they wear the clothing. And really passionately, they dress up, with very high heels also, even on on a regular basis. They dress up like that.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, so what are your favorite accomplishments that you want to share with us?
Mm, I think I have spoken about my accomplishments. It's been a beautiful journey. I have enjoyed um, a lot of designing for many people, and actually my own daughter, she got married about 8 years ago, and I did all her outfits because she wouldn't wear anybody else's. And I did her bridal outfit, I did her it was a biggish wedding, and I really enjoyed doing it. She's one of uh, my models, one of my favorite people. And I design everything for her, whatever she wears, and she loves them.
Yeah, and that's
It was one of those very memorable time for me.
yes.
Designed for my nieces, lots of my nieces also. So there are many moments actually during my whole career.
It's really nice, ma'am. So our vice principal, lovely ma'am's here, and she's asked a question. She's asked, "What would be your advice to Indian women in their middle ages in terms of the right fashion trends?"
See, one thing I would tell them that they don't have to curb because they are now into middle age. If they feel like wearing something, they can look what they want. They should. But of course, something which looks elegant as well. Not necessarily a trendy outfit with frills and bows and everything, which just doesn't look good. It doesn't have to be worn, but you can wear what you feel like, and you can take an advice from a designer, the kind of cut which would suit you, and the kind of will enhance your figure.
Yes. Ma'am, so do you really believe that we should follow colors and trends? So this is a question by one of our teachers actually.
Not necessarily. You just have to have your own style. And everybody, if you're fond of clothes, you just put in a little thought and have your own style. You don't have to follow one uh, trend of a like a fashionable color of the season or any such thing. You can have your own style, definitely.
Ma'am, so we've talked about style a lot. What helps us find our own style of fashion, do you think?
It's it's a process, you just keep experimenting, you keep trying new things, and you just learn while doing it. Maybe you look at some people and you think this is something which would look good on me, and you try and error.
Ma'am, can you repeat?
Hello. Yeah, I the question was,
Ma'am, the question was, do you really
you don't need to follow a trend of a color of a season or any particular style, any particular trend. You can have your own style, and you get to know while experimenting. Sometimes you just keep trying different outfits, and you will get to know what suits you, what doesn't. And if you have that creative bent, you will create new things. You will just kind of make an outfit look a little different by tying some belt or maybe something else, or hanging something, or maybe accessorizing it very differently. So you learn. It's a process you'll go through, and you
yes,
learn at some point.
ma'am, so we have another question which asks for fashion tips for plus size people.
Mm, well, you should that also is a process. You just keep trying different things. I think darker colors make you look a little more tapered, and finer fabrics, drapier fabrics maybe. And actually, it's even in plus sizes, every individual is different. So everybody has a different body, and that's where a designer comes in. They'll be able to tell you what is the right thing. What kind of garment would suit you. Some people are just top heavy, or some people are, you know, different.
Yes.
That's what.
Ma'am, so our vice principal is here. I would like to ask her if she wants to say something. Lovely, ma'am.
Yeah, good evening, everybody. It's been really nice listening to Ms. Anand about fashion. And I think, like, once upon a time when we were young, we used to think like whatever you wanted to wear, you can wear. But I think as you grow older and you age, your sense of fashion just settles in. Like, you find your own style. I think I have found my own style. I love wearing saris, and I have a good collection, and I team it up. Like, I create my own fashion trend, teaming it up with different size, different kinds of blouses and all, and different kinds of accessories and all. So I think it's a nice thing to be in the fashion world. And I hope all our listeners who are here today can take away some ideas. And, those of you who feel that, you don't have time to be fashionable, I think you need to take out some time for self grooming, because that is very, very important. When you dress well, and it may not be very don't do it over the top, but when you dress well and you feel well groomed, you feel confident. So I think good fashion sense also gives you that confidence. And that's why I think this session is really, really important. So thank you so much for being here. And I'm really enjoying this.
Thank you. Thank you for having me here, and nice to have been with you for an hour.
Ma'am, so any advice, any other advice or suggestions or tips you want to give us?
I think we have covered quite a bit, and I want to wish you all the best. This is a beautiful line to take, and I'm sure you'll really enjoy this.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am.
You're going to be taking designing, and it's a whole new world with a lot of opportunity. You just have to believe in yourself.
Yes, thank you, ma'am. Ma'am, so on behalf of DPS Whitefield students, teachers, and I would like to thank you for taking out your time to let us know all of this about fashion designing. It was a huge pleasure to learn more about this field, and we all loved everything that you shared with us today, and your enthusiasm and your zeal greatly inspired and was very positive. Thank you so much, ma'am, and we're also
My
grateful.
pleasure. My pleasure. Thank you so much, Lakshmi, and all the best to you.
So before we leave, I'd hope that you can and would join us again in the future for future events.
Love to. I would love to.
And I'd like to also request our audiences that you can follow us on follow our social media sites and our website to keep yourself updated on upcoming live sessions and workshops.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, ma'am, that's the end of the session.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you. Thank you so much, Lakshmi.
So you will share the recording with us?
Yes, ma'am. I'll send it to Siddhi, ma'am, and she will share it with you.
Okay, great. Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.